Most runners who open a 5K in 3:37 pay for it later. Harrison didn't. This week's not parkrun progress report comes from one of my athletes, Harrison, who ran a 5K recently in a time of 19:03. He wasn't too happy with his 5K time, but I have a different opinion on it. As you can see, he did his warm up into some progressive intervals to just get the heart rate ready so then he can execute his run as best as possible. Now, my initial reaction to this wasn't just a fast 5K time trial, it was very well executed 5K time trial. A 19:03 is obviously a strong result in its own right, but what really stands out is how little time Harrison gave away after that aggressive opening kilometre. Splits: first kilometre 3:37, second kilometre 3:48, third kilometre 3:52, fourth kilometre 3:53, and then a 3:53 for the final kilometre. That opening kilometre immediately grabs your attention. A 3:37 opening kilometre projects towards an 18-minute performance rather than a 19-minute one. Normally, when I see a first kilometre that quick, I'm expecting one of two things: a significant blow up later or a much larger fade through the middle kilometres. Neither happened. The fade was remarkably small. Let's put this into perspective. After opening in 3:37, the second kilometre slows by 11 seconds. Third kilometre slows by a further 4 seconds, and he effectively locks onto pace. From there, 3:52, 3:53, 3:53. That's excellent damage control. I wouldn't even call it damage control. I'd call it finding a sustainable race pace after an enthusiastic start. Once Harrison settled into the effort, he held it very well. His heart rate suggests a genuine maximal effort. Heart rate averages within each kilometre 173 beats per minute, 183, 182, 182, 181 beats per minute. This is fascinating. The first kilometre heart rate being lower than the remaining kilometres is exactly what you'd expect because heart rate lags behind effort. The key point is that once the heart rate rose into the low 180s, it stayed there. It didn't collapse, it didn't drift downwards. That suggests Harrison was working very close to his limit for the final 4 kilometres. This wasn't a pacing issue, this was a proper race effort. Cadence stayed impressively stable: 92 strides per minute, 91, 91, 90, and 90. That's one of the most positive metrics of the run. Despite accumulating fatigue, high heart rate, and a fast opening kilometre, his mechanics stayed remarkably consistent. Many runners who overcook the start show cadence collapse, overstriding, loss of rhythm. Harrison didn't. The slight drop from 92 to 90 is negligible. The terrain wasn't a major factor. Looking at the elevation, small rises, small descents, and nothing significant. The course was essentially neutral. The biggest positive, the thing I like most, is what happened after the opening kilometre. Many runners mentally unravel when they realise they've started too quick. Harrison didn't. Instead, he adjusted, settled, accepted the pace correction, and got on with the job. That's a sign of racing maturity. So, where is his opportunity? Ironically, the opportunity may sit in the first kilometre. If Harrison opens slightly more conservatively, 3:42, 3:43, 44, rather than the 3:37, he may arrive at the final kilometre with a little more left to give. That could potentially turn a 19:03 into sub 19-minute shape. Not because he's fitter, but because he's distributing the effort more evenly. My overall assessment: this is best described as a very strong 5K time trial featuring an ambitious start, excellent recovery from that start, and outstanding pace discipline over the final 4 kilometres. The most impressive part of this run wasn't the 3:37 opening kilometre, it was Harrison's ability to settle down, lock onto pace, and keep fighting all the way to the finish. That's often what separates a good 5 kilometre from a great one. So that was Harrison's 1903 5K time trial, the run that started aggressively. But what impressed me the most wasn't the opening kilometre. It was the ability to settle down, find a sustainable rhythm, and keep fighting all the way to the finish. A lot of runners can run one fast kilometre. Far fewer can regroup after an ambitious start and still produce a quality performance over the remaining four. If you'd like me to break down your own park run or 5K like this, pacing, heart rate, cadence, race execution, and exactly where your next gains can come from, you can apply for your own parkrun progress report at the link below. Ka kite anō, and I'll see you in the next video.